Let's take a look at the player profiles. All right, so we do have Jacob against Maze. And again, I do want to just talk about how awesome Jacob's deck is. It's very off-the-wall thing. But here we do have Maze on camera. Sorry, that's not Jacob. That is Maze. And looks like he's showing off. There we go. Seismitoad, EX, and Crobat. That's the deck we just saw win in the senior division. That's been a very powerful force all season long.
Absolutely. It has, basically, this Crobat covers all Seismitoad's weaknesses. The main one just being not being able to output that much damage. Seismitoad's Quaking Punch has been a brutal force over the course of its lifetime. Just an excellent deck, and we saw it's just so good at dismantling your opponent.
Oh yeah, Quaking Punch, as we've seen time and time again, is just so disruptive. Just prevents decks from doing what they want to do. And then Crobat adds the additional damage you need to do to get some knockouts, because Quaking Punch doesn't do a ton of damage on its own.
And with Maze, like you said, has qualified for Worlds several times and earned quite a few championship points this year, was able to go straight into the Day 2 tournament. Jacob is sort of, I would consider to be the underdog in this one. Let's take a look at his profile.
And there we do see Jacob on screen there. And you actually see Keldeo EX. You know, nowadays, Keldeo EX is seen as kind of a support Pokemon. You use that Russian ability sometimes to get out of special conditions. But in this deck, it is the main attacker. You want to get a bunch of water energy onto it and use that Secret Sword attack. And, you know, Shaman EX is always there to help set up.
It's been a while since we've seen Secret Sword used as a primary source of damage, but it's actually very valuable for Jacob, especially in this matchup, because you can rush in and maybe remove that poison or sleep from a Hypnotoxic Laser as well.
Yeah. Heading into this, Josh, who do you think is the favorite just based on the matchup?
It seems like the public opinion, at least, is that Seismitoad can do pretty well. It really all depends on, can Jacob get the turn 1 Blastoise. He gets one turn no matter what, whether he's going first or second, to try and empty his hand of all those item cards, get Blastoise down using Archie's Ace in the Hole, and start going crazy. If he cannot do that, though, he's going to get locked out, and it's going to be very hard to play your hand down.
And we are transitioning over to the game. Let's make some noise here for our two finalists, Jacob and Maze. We have Blastoise versus Seismitoad Crobat. Who will come out in this epic battle?
All right, so we see the opening handshake. Here we go. The World Championships are off.
Yep, we have double Zubat for Maze and a Keldeo EX for Jacob on the left. And yeah, I mean, it's pretty simple for Maze. He has to keep using Quaking Punch, but an X factor in this matchup could be that Mewtwo EX.
An X factor with the X ball. Mewtwo EX can be very strong. If you attach too many energy to Keldeo EX, it is pretty vulnerable to a big X ball from Mewtwo. Maze actually doesn't have that great of a hand, but Mewtwo could save him.
On the other hand, Jacob looks like he has a perfect combination of cards, plays the Ultra Ball to discard the Blastoise right away. He also has that superior energy retrieval, could discard more cards. I think we have a turn 1 Blastoise coming.
We do. He's already got the Archie in hand. He doesn't even need to search out. Grabbing his own Mewtwo, so that if, for some reason, his Pokemon does fall to an X-Ball, he can return with his own.
Yep, there's a superior energy retrieval. Plays down the water versus Seeker for the Archie's Ace in the Hole. Turn 1 Blastoise. This is exactly what Jacob wanted.
And the crowd goes wild. It's easy to see who is the fan favorite. It's just so exciting to see Blastoise hit the field on turn 1. He's going to need to do that every game if he wants to pull this out. And look at all those water energy.
Yeah, Acro Bike goes ahead and grabs another one and discards Execute. Grabs Shaman EX this time, and
oh boy.
Oh man, the double deluge. Turn 1, we are gonna see that Secret Sword.
Oh, look at all those waters. Combo wombo. He could keep attaching, decides, you know, best not to overextend right now. But what a turn 1 for Jacob. That's the kind of turn that you need to become world champion.
Scoops the game, he concedes immediately.
Whoa!
Just like that, game 1 of the finals is over, and Jacob takes a quick 1-0 lead.
Well, that's one way to blast through game 1.
That's the second time we've seen Jacob do it. He did it in the top 4, just got that turn 1 Blastoise going, and Merlin conceded to him immediately. And just like that, it looks like decks just cannot deal with that turn 1 Blastoise, that immediate pressure from Keldeo EX.
He had so many energy to attach to. Even if Maze did have some kind of retaliation, his game plan was set for a while. Like we mentioned, this matchup comes down to, can he get the Blastoise before Seismitoad attacks? He did that time. Might just need to do it one more to pull through and become our world champion.
Yeah, I do feel like this Blastoise deck has the craziest first turn of any deck in the format right now.
Yeah.
If you pull off that turn 1 Blastoise, there's really no damage ceiling for that Keldeo EX. I mean, really, it's just how many energy you can get on it to use Secret Sword. I've seen turn 1 knockouts on Pokemon EX using Secret Sword, and then you're staring down a 170 HP Pokemon that has a bunch of energy that can knock you out every turn. It's just so difficult to respond to that.
Yeah, I mean, what can you do? Your opponent has so many energy. No decks have that kind of acceleration. You know, you just only Blastoise can just continually attach as much as you want as long as you got the supply.
Yeah, and of course, Maze, the strategy has to be I mean, it has to be using Quaking Punch. He has to hope Jacob misses that turn 1 Blastoise, because after Quaking Punch hits, a lot of Jacob's deck is unplayable. It's just mostly item cards. We see just going down the list, just 4s of item cards, upwards of 20 to 30 item cards in his deck. And I mean, that's just cards you can't play anymore.
And one thing that some people might be wondering is, why did Maze concede so early in? While there is an extended clock once we're in top cut, there still is a clock. Maze runs a bit of a slower deck, and so he's going to want as much time as possible to play out these last 2 games. If you already see that you're likely going to lose a game, it's smart to concede and save time for the next 2.
Absolutely. We've seen it time and time again. You know, players just ignore the clock sometimes, and then run out of time, and an unfavorable situation occurs. Maze wants to make sure he has time to play out these last 2 games.
Yeah, no, Jacob while these games are definitely going to be, we got plenty of time, he does have sort of that time factor on his side now.
Yep, so we are shuffling up for game number 2 in the finals of the Masters Division, the Pokemon TCG World Championships. Jacob is 1 game away from being crowned World Champion, but can Maze bring this back and win the next 2?
It's very possible. Like we said, if you start getting Quaking Punch and there's no Blastoise, or even if you do get Blastoise, you can always just get them out of item cards, and all of a sudden they can't draw anymore. It really comes down to that burst turn. Do you get everything, or do you have a bit of a slower start?
Yeah, even if you do get the Blastoise out on the first turn with Archie's Ace in the Hole, there's no guarantee you also draw into the water energy with it. Jacob's deck is designed after the Archie's Ace in the Hole to keep playing item cards, keep playing Shaymin EX to draw enough cards to get those water energy and attach them right away. But there is a situation where, you know, if you just draw a bunch of cards you can't play, you could miss your opportunity to put down all those water energy, and then Seismitoad EX can come in and shut you down with Quaking Punch.
His opening hand is very dependent on those item cards that allow him to discard 2 cards from his hand, the energy retrievals and the Ultra Balls. If he opens a hand with a lot of support cards, that can be a bit harder to manage.
Right, so again, we are shuffling up here. We'll get game number 2 started in just a second. As players are shuffling each other's decks and just making sure everything is well randomized. And here we go. I believe Maze will start, will opt to go first in the second game. The loser of the previous game gets to decide who goes first.
All right, so both players cutting up and getting ready to draw their opening hand.
All right. And we mentioned this yesterday, but Jacob's deck actually has a lot of unfavorable opening Pokemon. There are Shaymin EX, Jirachi EX, Execute, things you don't really want to start with. He doesn't have a ton of Pokemon he does want to start with. Keldeo EX is the big one, so it could come down to the starting Pokemon as well.
Yeah, thankfully, Mewtwo on Mewtwo.
What is this, 2012?
What is this? Yeah, like we mentioned, this is Mewtwo's last stand, at least at the moment of this version of Mewtwo EX in the standard format, but it has been so dominant, and it's been strange.
Oh, double colorless energy going on. And this is like 2012.
Yeah, this is pretty scary. Maze cannot attack in the first turn, so if Jacob does get that huge burst and gets a lot of energy, Mewtwo is weak to Psychic, so X-Ball on X-Ball, when they already have the energy, for X-Ball, deals a lot of damage.
Yeah. Maze, I mean, it's got to be a little bit scary for him here playing this end. He needs to find another basic Pokemon and get it into play.
If he gets no basic, we could just see Mewtwo on Mewtwo and the World Championship's over in 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's certainly a possibility. So Maze, I mean, he plays a bunch of Ultra Ball, plays a bunch of other basics. So odds are he will find one here, but if he doesn't, it's going to be a real sweat for him.
All right, here we go. I'm keeping my eyes on that hand. Let's see what he gets. Okay, Seismitoad. Won't be ending in a turn. Another Seismitoad. He's got some time.
Yeah, so he's going to drop down that Seismitoad EX. Could drop down the other one as well. Also has Hypnotoxic Laser. He could play that down and put on some pressure right away. So there it is, Hypnotoxic Laser.
And it looks like he did get the Sleep Flip, so Jacob flipping for Sleep. Tails, that could be a big deal.
Oh, sorry.
Didn't end his turn yet. I wonder how that works.
Yeah, he flipped a little prematurely. Mays was not done with his turn, so just going to see if he has to reflip there.
All right, figuring out. Obviously, looks like he will reflip, and result is the same.
Still tails. So Mewtwo is still asleep. That is pretty relevant. He won't be able to attack with X-Ball. You know, if he does manage to get the Blastoise into play and Deluge a couple times onto it, he won't be able to attack with Mewtwo and X-Ball for the knockout. If he wants to knock out Maze's Mewtwo, he's going to have to power up a Keldeo.
Yeah, and I guess if he wants to attack Mewtwo, he can, like, get Blastoise out, Deluge twice to Keldeo, rush in, then retreat. It's a bit murkier.
Yeah, and the question here is, can Jacob pull off that turn one Blastoise yet again?
You know,
I mean, his deck is built to do it as often as possible, and you can do it more frequently than you might think. There are plenty of cards that allow him to discard cards from his deck, draw and cycle through cards over and over and over. Going to begin with this Acrobike. Going to be a big card.
That Acrobike is a big deal. He actually doesn't have, like I mentioned, any of those discard trainers yet. So I think he's going to have to play his hand down, Shaman back up, and hope that he finds them.
Yeah, he was definitely hoping for something like Computer Search or Ultra Ball. Even a superior energy retrieval would have allowed him to discard a couple cards, but unable to find any of those and has to settle for that Shaman EX. So it's going to be much tougher for him this game to play his hand down to 0 so he can use that Archie's Ace in the hole.
So Battle Compressor does begin. He's discarding a few crucial cards that perhaps he doesn't want to draw. Also, Execute can help him with some of that management. Decides to put Archie's Ace in the hole into the discard pile. That way, if he draws Versus Seeker, he can pull it up that way. And yeah, he's going to have to draw with Shaman and hope that he gets this manageable hand for discard.
Yeah. And there are a lot of like little decisions that can help you lower your hand size. A lot of things that are almost counterintuitive. For example, he's not playing down this water energy. Usually when you play Shaman EX to set up, you want to draw as many cards as possible. But sometimes in this situation, you just want to hold on to cards that you wouldn't be able to play.
He plays the Trainer's Mail, I think, still looking for something like an Ultra Ball, Superior Energy Retrieval, those types of things. He did have like Jirachi, Versus Seeker, like, ways to find the supporter, but I don't know if he has a way to get Blastoise out.
Yeah, based on his hand, it doesn't look like there's any way for him to really lower his hand size, so he will miss that turn one Blastoise this time, and this is the opening Maze needs. He needs to take advantage of this.
Yeah, and it looks like, another Shaman drawing. Why not? Digging even deeper. Computer Search. Ultra Ball. Whoa, wait a second.
I spoke too soon.
You can dig so deep with this deck.
Off of those 3 cards, Jacob finds a Computer Search, which allows you to discard 2 cards, and an Ultra Ball, which allows you to discard 2 cards. So just like that, he can play his hand down to 0 cards and use that Archie's Ace in the hole. We're going to see a Blastoise again.
Battle Compressor, getting all his energy in the discard pile. 1 Superior Energy Retrieval brings all those energy back. He can attach them. He has so many options now, all of a sudden, out of nowhere.
Unbelievable. We could actually see a turn 1 Secret Sword for knockout if this all goes well for Jacob.
And if Maze loses the first Mewtwo, it's going to be really hard. He's going to have to find a second Mewtwo to get that easy knockout. Otherwise, this Keldeo can just tear through 3 EX Pokemon really quickly.
Right. Looks like we are having a bit of a discussion here. I'm not really sure what's going on, but we're in the middle of Battle Compressor for Jacob after he used that Computer Search. Of course, this will really come down to if he can get that Blastoise into play right now and power up Keldeo EX for a big Secret Sword.
Yeah, it looks like maybe a question of order of operations. We'll see how this resolves, hopefully quickly.
Yeah. So we're just going to wait and see, hear from our judges, and see what's going on here. But for the time being, it looks like Jacob will be able to get that turn 1 Blastoise. Of course, he did draw Computer Search, the Ultra Ball. It was really looking like he would not be able to do anything on his first turn, but man, he gets kind of those miracle cards off of that second Shaman EX's setup.
Yeah, it's funny how drawing your hand up can actually help you find the cards to draw your hand back down, make it empty, and then abuse Archie's Ace in the hole.
Yeah, I mean, if Jacob can manage to power up Keldeo EX, use Secret Sword, and knock out the Mewtwo EX, I don't know how Maze responds to that. I mean, if you have enough energy to do 170 damage, that's so tough to deal with. You take down the Mewtwo EX. Oh, no. And all right, we're good to go. And we do see the Ultra Ball from Jacob. Going to grab that Keldeo EX. And yes, he's able to play his hand down to 0. He's going to grab that Keldeo EX, put it down, and we will see a Blastoise.
We'll see a Blastoise and then 5 more cards. Jacob, I can only imagine looking for that Superior Energy Retrieval. And Can you believe how thin his deck is? It's turn 1.
Yep, that's just the power of Shaman EX and all these item-based drawing cards. And will he find enough energy to get this knockout on Mewtwo EX?
Well, there's a superior in there. He can drop 5 energy.
Yeah, it looks like there's only 3 in his discard. He needs 5 total with the Muscle Band to get the knockout with Secret Sword. He can at least get an attack off this turn. If he really wants to, he could probably rush in, retreat, and maybe X-Ball with Mewtwo.
Yeah, it's...
Oh, actually, no, that is exactly enough.
No, he's got him. 5 energy, plus a Muscle Band.
Kidding me? He's going to knock out an EX on the first turn with Secret Sword.
Oh, look at all that energy. It's disgusting. He's pushing the Mewtwo off physically just because there's so much energy attached to it.
Goodness, did that really just happen? Turn 1, Secret Sword for 170 damage. How can Maze do anything about that?
I mean, ends his start. All I can think of is Maze finding his other Mewtwo and double and striking it down. Otherwise, this Keldeo just eats Seismitoad up. It will, I think, need 1 more energy, right, to get the knockout because it's a 180 HP EX. But otherwise, you know, he's getting 4 cards off this end. Just needs 1 water. That's not asking a whole lot.
Let that sink in. That was Jacob's first turn. First turn, he just played all of those cards and attacked for 170 damage and took 2 prizes.
Some of you might be wondering, well, if I can get all this out on the first turn, why isn't everyone playing Blastoise? It's actually a pretty uncommon play because it's hard to make a deck list consistent enough to hit that every single time.
And now, what does Maze do here? Does he Quaking Punch? There's a rough season play. The damage will get healed off immediately. Does he just not attack at all? Does he try to go for a Mewtwo EX and try to X-Ball for a knockout? I mean, there are 5 energy on there already. I mean, he just needs so many cards to respond to this, and I don't know if he can draw all of them.
Yeah, once you get that turn, it's just incredible. And we were almost counting him out. It looked like Jacob had finally run out of resources on that turn, but that Shaman just found everything he needed, all the discard options. Then the Blastoise drew into the superior energy retrieval. So many energy, and it ends up paying off.
Uh-oh, and Maze playing a computer search. He's trying to find that second Mewtwo EX, and it looks like it is in his prize cards. He placed 2 in his deck. The first one was knocked out, and he can't find the second one. You could see him shaking his head saying,
oh my goodness.
What do I do now? I have no way to respond to that Keldeo EX. Quaking Punch just doesn't do enough damage.
I think that's his only way of knocking out a Keldeo.
Yeah.
And one's already gone because he had to start with Mewtwo.
Yeah, I mean, Quaking Punch is great for disrupting your opponent and preventing them from executing their strategy.
I'm pretty sure he's already executed his strategy, though.
I would agree, yes. There's already a Keldeo doing way too much damage. So Maze asked to computer search for Burbank City Gym. Try to at least wear this Keldeo down with some poison damage and a Quaking Punch.
Yeah, and he can't even get the sleep flip because he has 2 Keldeo on his side of the field. He can just do a double rush in.
Yeah, I think the game might just come down to, can Jacob find another water energy next turn? If he can get that and get the knockout with Secret Sword, I don't think Maze can do anything.
So Jacob is asleep, like we mentioned, regardless how he flips double Keldeo. You can rush in and then rush in again. If he has the water, he can deal up to 180 plus damage to knock out Seismitoad in 1 hit. Let's see what he's got. He's got it. I think I saw some blue in there.
You see the double rush in to reset the special condition, and
there it is.
There's the water energy and the Secret Sword knockout. Jacob is 2 prize cards away from being our world champion.
And Maze, if he truly does have that Mewtwo EX prized, what else can he do?
I mean, he's going to have to drop a Golbat down, put some damage counters on the Keldeo. I think he has to, like, Sky Return with Shaman, try to do some damage, and set up for a Quaking Punch knockout next turn.
So he's Ducey and N, bringing Jacob back down to 2 cards. He is just like 1 Lysander away from winning, though.
Man, this is crazy. This is just how fast this Blastoise Keldeo deck can be. We've seen it in the past with Blastoise being played as a stage 2, right? You play the Squirtle and Rare Candy into Blastoise, and that was always a devastating strategy. But now you can do it on the first turn, and you can see just how much more devastating it can be.
And a lot of people, I was talking to Maze, he's like, oh, I hate this deck. I can never get the turn 1 Blastoise. There is a little luck involved, but it turns out when you're going to go big at the Pokemon World Championships, you might as well go big or go home.
Yeah, and we do find the double colorless energy for Maze. Have to give it to him. He is finding the only way out in this situation. He's going to Sky Return, try to set up Keldeo EX for the knockout. And if he can finish off the knockout with a Quaking Punch, Jacob really relies on that superior energy retrieval to get his water energy back. And he just might be out of energy if Maze can, close out this Keldeo through Quaking Punch.
And Jacob does only run the one Lysander, but I do see Trainer's Mail sitting in his hand. He could T-mail and start looking into the future, perhaps finding it. That's the only card he needs to secure this game, but he's already in such an amazing position, it might not even matter.
Yeah, so, I mean, the game is in Jacob's hand at this point. If he can find Lysander, obviously that's game over. Obviously he wins the World Championships, just knocking out another EX. There we see the Sky return. Maze promotes Zubat. Can Jacob find Lysander and
Trainer's Mail,
out?
4 cards to look at. Do we see a Lysander? No, but there's a bike. He could bike and dig deeper.
And Rough Seas that can heal some damage off and make it more difficult for Maze to get the knockout.
And while it would be exciting to end it all here, better to play conservatively when you have this big of a lead.
Oh, yeah.
You can heal, get Keldeo away from a knockout position. Juniper, set up for next turn. Why not?
Yeah,
and you can just get 2 prizes.
And you can even find more energy to start powering up your next Keldeo EX.
And so we see a whole new slew of options, lots of ways to draw through his deck. You know, he can continually Trainer's Mail, etc. He is not under the usual Seismitoad EX Quaking Punch lock. So
discards a couple energy. Now he can Superior Energy Retrieval and power up a second Keldeo EX.
There is no way around this. I don't see it. If you see it, let me know. I just can't find it.
Yeah, we also see the Wailord EX peeking out of Jacob's hand. We could see that come in.
I mean, one possibility here is, let's say he takes 1 knockout here. He doesn't have space on the bench. I'm just trying to visualize the Wailord EX knockout situation. I don't think we're going to see it, but it is certainly possible.
Yeah, we see the Ultra Ball for Execute has that great propagation ability, allows you to pick it up out of the discard pile, put it back into your hand, so that you can pay for the cost of cards like Ultra Ball and Superior Energy Retrieval.
And just look at how ridiculous this board state is. You don't often see Water Energy extending almost all the way from the Pokemon slot to the deck slot.
Uh-oh, pulls out the Lysander, so next turn he can definitely win the game if he can't. He can't this turn. He's already played a supporter, so yeah, he's going to have to take knockout on Zubat, but he can make it really difficult on Maze. I mean, he can get 3 energy on the other Keldeo EX, rush in, and then simply knock out Zubat with that one, saving his Keldeo with all the energy on it.
And looks like that's what he's reaching for. Superior Energy Retrieval. Normally you have to discard 2 cards from hand, but Jacob just bounced 2 of those Execute back up to his hand with their propagation ability. Easy discards without losing resources. Look at how many energy he has in his field. Almost his entire deck full of energy is here.
Here we see the Russian has to move all of the energy with it, and there's the knockout. And here we go. This is the last turn for Maze. Can he put up a fight here? Can he do anything to prevent that inevitable Keldeo EX on the bench from finishing him off?
Yeah, he could just rush in and attack and knock out anything on Maze's side of the board. Maze, I just don't see if he can take a prize. He can't get sleep flips because there's 2 Keldeo. I just don't know what he can do. It's too ridiculous when you get that turn 1 Blastoise.
Yeah, I mean, he can get a knockout. There's 100 damage on the Keldeo EX. So 50 damage Quaking Punch. There's 2 more damage counters from Golbat. He needs to find Lysander right here.
Oh, he
and
did.
He does draw it.
Okay, Maze actually has a chance to bounce back. He can at least prevent himself from getting immediately knocked out. That said, does Jacob still have the Lysander from last turn?
Yes, here's Super Scoop Up. This is huge. Oh, and he flips tails. If he flips heads on that, he can pick up the Shaman EX. But actually, I mean, there's just too many targets for Lysander. There's just too many ways. And Maze concedes. Jacob Van Wagner is your 2015 Pokemon TCG World Champion.
Just look at Jacob. He looks like he can't believe it. You know, I can't believe it either. That's one of the fastest finals we've ever had in the Pokemon World Championships.
Yeah, and you know, that is just how that Blastoise deck operates. You either go off on all cylinders and you completely steamroll your opponent, or you just kind of have a clunky mess and you can't do anything. And you can see right there, when everything works, Blastoise Keldeo is so difficult to stop, and Jacob Van Wagner takes this unorthodox strategy and uses it to win the World Championships.
There's so much pride. I know Jacob, sort of seen as the underdog. That deck doesn't always burst on turn 1, and if it doesn't, it gets pretty ugly because you run so many item cards. But Jacob, the cards were just in his favor today.
Yeah, and you could see just how close it was to being a disaster on that first turn of the second game. It looked like his hand was pretty much unplayable. Drops down that Shaman EX with that incredible setup ability. Draws the 3 cards and gets exactly what he needs to get that Archie's ace in the hole. And from there, it was all downhill.
Yeah, I really want to be able to look at how many cards he drew on that second game first turn. This is one of the most aggressive decks possible. If you miss it, you really are out of gas like after turn 1. But hey, he went all in. He played this deck through the day 1 tournament, brought it again for the day 2 tournament, had a great showing, and look where he is now.
Yeah, and let's not forget the important part here, Josh. Wailord EX couldn't win Nationals, but Wailord EX is in the World's winning deck.
There is a Wailord in there. I wanted to see it dropped. I'm going to ask him, at some point personally, did you ever get to drop the Wailord? Did it happen? He did use it to absorb some damage against Night March. We saw it, but unreal. And, definitely not to discredit Maze. He had an incredible run, took down one of the biggest players that we've seen over the past couple of years in Igor Costa in a mirror match. He had a really well-built deck, pulled himself out of some scary games over the course of his run, and second place is nothing to scoff at.
Yeah, I mean, Maze didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah,
he played everything perfectly. It's just, what can you do when that kind of a thing happens? His deck just isn't equipped to deal with that kind of a start. First game, he had a terrible hand. Second game, his Mewtwo EX is prized. He has no way to respond. It is just, I mean, you did everything right, but just sometimes it isn't enough.
It's so exciting to see that strategy pay off, though, to really show you guys what Blastoise is all about. And that Archie's ace in the hole. I told you guys, Pikachu knew. He called it. Called it in advance that Team Aqua was going to have some shenanigans at the World Championships, and you guys just got to see it.
Yeah, so congratulations again to Jacob Van Wagner, your Masters Division World Champion, taking home that $25,000 scholarship award, and of course he'll get the title of World Champion as well. Congratulations.
We'll be talking with Jacob in just a moment. What an exciting finish for this year's Pokemon trading card game.